Boom, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Don't you just love that new intro for the midweek market update? That's right, it's Wednesday, and it's time for another midweek market update. And you know what? It's also time for another rip and ship giveaway. We haven't done one in a little while here since our 5K subs, and we're actually marching pretty quickly towards 6,000 subs, thanks to everyone out there. We're going to do 2 packs of Chilling Reign, so 1 pack to each winner, 2 different winners, and all you got to do, leave a comment below, be a subscriber, hit that like button, and we'll do a rip and ship short for you, and any hits get sent your way. And with that, let's get into our midweek market update. So let's get started with Surging Sparks. I was kind of shocked to see how many boxes are listed on TCG Player. Remember, when we're talking about the current quantity listed on TCG Player, this is representative of the willingness of people to sell this product. There's plenty of margin in here for if your cost basis is even MSRP at this price. I would argue that there's a lot of people who hopped in at probably a higher price than they really wanted to, or because they thought the price was going to continue to march up. But really, no one is fire selling. This is, even though there's 1,200 boxes listed, no one is fire selling. There's no need to fire sell. There's no need to fight each other over price. I'm talking about on the sell side of things. You can see here plenty of volume. We're seeing even in the last month, and we're seeing 10 plus boxes per day minimum. Average daily sell rate of 15 boxes, booster boxes per day on a set that's been out for a while. So there's really plenty of demand. You can put a booster box. Almost any number of booster boxes. You can put a whole case worth of booster boxes up on TCG Player and it'll sell within 12 hours. So that's pretty significant. So there's really just no reason, even with 1,200 boxes listed, we would really, for this correction that we're talking about, we really need a slowdown of the money pouring in. And we are seeing a slowdown overall, but it's really being focused now on best of breed product like Prismatic, Surging Sparks. Obviously Destined Rivals is taking up a large chunk of that money right now. So Surging Sparks, if we do see, I would say this is actually at this price still one of the better buys in all of Scarlet and Violet. I would hold out. I don't know that we're going to see with the summer slowdown coming and just the amount of money, the shrinkage and spend. I don't think we're going to see a rebound in price on this. I don't think we're going to see back to the 250s anytime in the next month or two. If we do see a correction and we see a price pullback, I would absolutely give you my blessing. Load back up on Surging Sparks when you get down to the 210, 215, even here at 230. I mean, you got to think Journey Together is a little bit cheaper than this. Destined Rivals is a little bit more expensive. This is a really, in my opinion, really, really solid set. So if you see any pullback in price, absolutely might be worth taking a crack at this. Prismatic Evolutions, really not a huge story here. Really steady as she goes. Remember, we're going to continue to see reprints of this product. I think we're going to continue to see Pokemon Center drops. I would not be shocked to see more Pokemon Center ETBs to be dropped, honestly, completely honestly here. I think they're going to give this the 151 treatment, which means they're going to come back and continue to print this for the next 2 years. So I hope we get more Costco product. I hope we get more, again, Pokemon Center drops, regular ETBs plus PC ETBs. I think the market can handle it. So I think, if you're a buyer at this price, I don't think that's terrible. I would still love to see this drop to 90s to get just in the hands of people to actually open it and enjoy it. But it's really pretty stable from a price standpoint. It's moving consistently. The volume is dropping off a little bit here, but again, we're heading towards summer months. There's certainly got to be some wallet fatigue setting in right now. Destined Rivals, Black Bolt White Flare is going to soak up some money in the market. And again, this is another one where there's just the volume is still such on the ETB side. You're selling an average of 50 of these per day. There's just no reason for anyone to cut and run. You can put almost any number of ETBs on the market and they'll sell within a reasonable period of time. It's when that starts to slow down that people are going to start fighting on price. But we're not close to that yet. All right, let's look at SPC here for Prismatic as well. I'm pretty confident we're going to see more reprints on this. Again, I think the Pokemon Company they're going to treat it like the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection. They're going to go back and do multiple waves, which I think is extremely healthy. So at the conundrum on our side now is really, do we pick this up at this price? Is this a good price? I don't think it's a terrible price. I think it's going to age extremely well. It's a beautiful looking box. We've seen this time and again. We saw the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection. If you want a one-to-one, it's really 151, right? If you're looking for a comparison, and we see the price performance on that. So even at $200 a pop, I think that's not a terrible price to pay, though I would argue if we do see another wave of this and Prismatic is further in the rearview mirror, I think that's probably going to erode this $200 price a little more significantly. I don't think we see it drop down to anywhere close to $100 a pop, maybe 175 or something like that, which would be an absolutely phenomenal entry point. So I think this is one I would give you my blessing to chase after a little bit. I don't think getting in at $200 a pop is a terrible price, just given what we know is likely to happen. It's a best of breed set. It's fantastic box artwork, which matters. It's great to display. And obviously the cards in this set are just have held, even with massive reductions in the set value and card values, is still a behemoth compared to anything we've seen in the last 5 years. So this is absolutely, I think, a fine buy at this price. Prismatic Evolution Surprise Box. I kind of call this as being a potential hidden gem because of those stamped promo cards in here. Those stamped Evolutions cards, but just the quantity of product in the market just hasn't really allowed this to do anything like that. I still think long term this is a decent buy, especially if you can get these maybe under that $50 price point, get around. I think the intended retail price was about $30. If you can pick them up like that, if you find them out in the wild, I would pick these up. I think they're pretty unique. We don't really have anything like this out there. There is some randomness in the promo, unlike the ETB, where you don't, the ETB, you know what you're going to get for a stamp promo. With this, you don't. It's a bit of random, so I think that's going to create some cracking, right? Chasing some of those promos. So I would give this, if you can pick any of these up, I think these are still going to do okay long term, and the sell rate on these is actually pretty good. Shrouded Fable, I've said this before. I think this is a decent product. If you're looking for something to open, I think this is actually a pretty affordable product to open. I wouldn't not have exposure to this. I wouldn't back the truck up and go crazy on it, but I would be upset with myself if I didn't have any exposure to this, and it's cheap enough to do so. So why not hedge your bets? And we're actually seeing the volume of product here kind of start to dry up. Only 100 ETBs listed on TCG Player. Whether this is going to get reprinted or not, maybe. My guess is if I'm the Pokemon company, given, how lackluster the reception was on this at release, I'm probably not likely to spend what precious bandwidth I have on a product like this soon. That doesn't mean they won't. It's still extremely young. I think we're right at a year old on this. So I would absolutely, for $60 a pop, which is close to, that intended retail price, I think this is a fair buy. And given these are starting to dry up, I actually think you have a little bit of upside potential. Nothing crazy or anything like that, but I think there's actually some potential upside on this in the future. And again, if you're looking to open some product, there's some decent cards in the set. You could do a lot worse. Scarlet and Violet base has the FOMO in early SV has not caught on to Scarlet and Violet base, and I think that's really just due to a couple of things. I think there's a lot of people that went in pretty heavy on Scarlet Violet base when the new era kind of came in, and I think people are pretty, a lot higher on the price chain in terms of their cost basis. I think it's just it just doesn't hold any kind of premium versus even Obsidian Flames, which again I would argue does not make sense having that box price, which with a set that's got a card value basis under $300 now. I think it's closing in on like $280 a set value, which is the worst out of anything. It's even worse than Shrouded Fable, believe it or not. So this, Scarlet and Violet base, just again, there's stuff to like here. It's just there's plenty of product out in the market, so we are seeing. I think my opinion on this is that the current quantity listed on TCG Player, that depth of market here, is probably suppressing this from doing anything. Even though it's got the age on it, it's Scarlet and Violet base, which has it's the initial start of Scarlet and Violet, so it has something there in terms of provenance, in terms of it's starting the SV era, but it's just really the market hasn't seen it as a premium product, even though it's got age on it. So I think you could be getting to the point. I don't love the set, but you could be getting to the point where this makes sense to buy given the age. Let's take a real quick look here at set values. I did not pull this up. We're on PokeData.io. Yeah, about $500. I don't know the trend on that. My guess is that's still pretty down compared to every set value is down at this point. The only one that's held on recently has been Destined Rivals, but even that's still down. So some decent cards here. So this could be worth picking up here. Lost my spot. Yeah, I may give it a blessing at 200. I'm not chasing it at 200. I got plenty of Scarlet Violet. I'm kind of closed out my position on that. I don't think I'm adding to it. If you missed out, I don't think this is a terrible buy. In fact, I would say it's a bit of a hidden gem, not hidden gem play, underdog play compared to like a Paldea Evolved, where much better set, has a really good chase card, but for $200 here you get a nice discount as there's some upside potential to that given the age on this set. So just keep that in mind. So let's move on to, let's see, what was my next one? Destined Rivals. So really solid set. It's doing exceptionally well. We'll talk about some singles here in a minute. I just worry again on the quantity of product listed here on TCG Player. The sell-through rate's still really good. We're averaging 65 booster boxes a day in the last month. We can see that starting to trail off here, and we'll continue to do so, and that's normal. Completely normal. We have Black Bolt White Flare approaching extremely quickly, so this is to be expected. When Black Bolt White Flare comes out and we hit those, really get in the middle of the summer doldrums and the money starts to dry up further, I just worry again about these products that have a lot of products sitting on TCG Player. Can they sustain those values? So if you missed out on Destined Rivals, I think you could have some opportunity to get in. I don't think you're going to get a $180 or $200 necessarily entry point, but if you got it, pull back to 210 or something like that, you might want to consider hopping in at that point if you have no exposure to it. I have very little exposure to the booster box side, so if I do see if I see it getting close to 200, certainly anything below 200, I don't want to chase. But if I've seen a product hit a certain price and then I see a pullback, I'm more likely to spend above that MSRP mark. It's had that vote of confidence from the market, so that to me is an opportunity to deploy capital and take advantage of a situation. So. And Destined Rivals has performed really well from a set value standpoint. Let's pull up the set value here real quick. Destined Rivals, again, I'm on PokeData.io. Fantastic site. I love this site. Yeah, just looking at the set, you get you get the Mewtwo at the top, Cynthia's Garchomp. That Moltres is beautiful. That Crobat is on my buy list. I just picked up the Ghastly from, Temporal Forces? So Crobat's on my next to buy list for my personal collection. And then looking at some singles, let's talk some singles cards here. Yeah, so Team Rocket's Mewtwo, really surprising to see a lot of these cards from Destined Rivals, these SIRs, actually bouncing off their lows and marching up again. I don't know if this is related to, obviously there's demand, right? Is it just, or how come we're not seeing, the pull rates seem pretty normal for a high tier set like this. Are we just not seeing enough cracking because of the box price? And that's why we're not seeing more singles in the market. I mean, this is pretty low to have only 44 of these listed. Again, is it demand? I mean, we're seeing an average of 4 per day, which I guess is pretty good for a $400 card. But I'm just shocked to see the price bounce up a little bit. Just not enough of these on the market. So I do not think we're having. There's just enough cracking because of the cost of the product. So people are just, I think, certainly from a rip standpoint, ripping sealed product. I think there's definitely some wallet fatigue there for sure. Destined Rivals ETBs are still hovering around the $85 to $90 price point, which makes it a little difficult for scalpers and botters to really make a ton of profit on this. You're really talking about slim margins, so you really need volume at that point to make up for that. I think the amount of ETBs that we're seeing for Destined Rivals here on release and then subsequent waves of product hitting retail stores is much more significant. That's my opinion, but I think the data here, what we're seeing on TCG Player, obviously there's a lot of people trying to sell and move the product, but the amount of ETBs compared to other set releases that we've seen in Scarlet and Violet, other regular set releases, I think is pretty significant. It seems like people are having pretty good luck dropping into a couple local game stores or a couple Targets, a couple Walmarts or something on a Saturday and finding product. Or finding individual packs. I've had no problem walking into bookstores, gas stations, and paying a bit more per pack, like $6 per pack, but actually being able to pick up product. So I think the release wave for this, kudos to the Pokemon Company, it seems to have been pretty significant. We just have, and I think the prices, if the market was a little bit softer, I think the prices would be representative of that. I think they actually did a good job with enough product. The reason we're just not seeing any massive, and pullback in pricing to the point where it's a little the pill's a little easier to swallow is just because the demand's still there. It's a really, really solid set. So again, ETBs. Do we pay this price? I think you're going to have opportunity to spend a little bit less on this. So obviously, if you're cracking, I don't think it's a terrible price. I think it's a beautiful box. I think if you missed out, I don't think this is an $80. I'm guessing you could probably find these at $80. Or again, hit up your local Walmart or Target on a Saturday or even a weekday during the holiday this week and see if you can snag one. And if you can't, this isn't a terrible price to pay if you just want to have one or two for the collection to display. And that brings us to the end of our midweek market update. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. I'm always looking for feedback, always looking for lively conversation. Reminder, if you want to get product at MSRP, you want to have a chance to get product at MSRP, check out Sleeved TCG. It's a Discord community where like-minded people who are investors, collectors can talk about this hobby, but also in-stock notification alerts. It's truly how I've gotten most of my cheap product recently. Still a gamble, but for what costs really 1 to 2 cups of coffee, to be able to have the chance at snagging product, especially when it comes down to Pokemon Center drops, how to get in the queue, all the little tips and tricks that start to add up to just kind of level the playing field. Truly a beneficial service. And reminder, we're going to do a couple of rip and ship giveaways for Chilling Reign here. So kudos and good luck to anyone who wins. I'll reply to the winning comments in 24 hours. Just go leave a comment below. Make sure you're a subscriber and make sure you hit that like button. And with that, we'll see you on the next one. PokeMarketLab out.